Show you how to do this design here. Put the colors on, the ombre, do these ombre colors on something. I did these. I've had this one for a while, but I'm going to show you today how to do these colors, how to work your colors around and get this one. Hi Grace, how are you? Do some coloring around it, and then we're going to put some Halloween designs on it. Some of it's stenciled, some of it's painted, so it's just all different. This is an old tea kettle, a vintage one. So we're going to do this kind of style today. I'm going to set this right back here. I've been sitting here this morning, or today, I've been sitting here working on, trying to finish up a pumpkin today, so I've been working on this one. What little time I get to come out here in the shop, I've been trying to keep my Etsy shop is what, you know, I've been trying to keep it going, because that's what's important to me. I'm going to get started. We've got a few in here. And I'm going to try my best, girls, to do a couple of classes a week at least. So you just have to watch my page. Love the pumpkin. Thank you, Nina. I've done a lot of pumpkins, and I sell pumpkins, sell good for me. So I've done so many different colored ones, you know, different colors. And I've got a big one over here I'm doing with some decoupage on it. I'll show it to you. This is a big one, and I decoupaged 2 of the ribs on it. I've just got it started, so I've put some napkins on each side of this one. Hi Ruth, hey Regina. I've put napkins on the 2 of these ribs, and then I'm just going to paint and do things on the rest of them. But I've decoupaged. Putting that decoupage, them napkins on there is really a pain in the butt, because you've got to piece them on a little bit at a time. If you're using a napkin that's floral, where you can cut it and, you know, use it in pieces and it still fits together. Now, if it has a pattern that you have to follow the pattern, it's almost impossible to get it one on in these curves and get it in these places. But if you've got a napkin that's a floral or any design on it, that you can piece that design, because the way these flowers overlap on the napkin, you can piece it and it looks like it just came that way, you know, because one flower being over top of the other, and there's no big deal. And the same way on that side. So I got those in, and they're good and dry. I did them some days ago. Then I'm going to paint the rest of it, do the painting on the rest of the ribs around through there. Okay, we're going to get started. We'll, as more comes in, but we'll be started. Everybody can watch the replay. I'm trying to watch it on my phone down here, so if I miss your comments, girls, it don't always work on my phone to get the comments and things. So if I lose you, you'll know. Okay? I mean, if I lose the comments, but I'll go back and read them all when we're done with the thing. Hey, Francis. Hey, Miss Debbie. I'll go back and read all of the comments and answer your questions. Thanks for sprinkling. That helps, girls. That helps to get us out there. And like I said, my pages went downhill big time. This year's been a rough year, all in every way, shape, and form. It's just one of those years you go through in your life that, you know, changes everything. So we get through it one day at a time and pray a little bit and move on. So, but I'm going to do this. I did this, got this bucket down here, and I did this, and I had painted this bucket some time ago, and I painted it pink, but that don't really matter because I'm going to put all those colors on there with the brush. And I just painted the inside of it white. Don't know where I got this thing, probably at a yard sale, because I've had it for a long time. But I thought it would make a good trick-or-treat bucket, so I'm going to, this is what we're going to work on. Thanks, Kimberly, I appreciate that. You need hugs every now and then, girls. You need hugs, you need prayers, you need to just, you know, get through the days sometimes. It's just a matter of let's get through the day today, okay? Okay, I'm going to use, to get those colors on there, I'm going to use black and white. I've got some black, some orange, some yellow, some white, and some purple. I've got 4 colors, and I'm going to put those colors on my palette. And then I'm going to just, I'll show you how to get them on, how to work them. We're going to kind of dry brush a lot of them and get them up through there. I will, Angela. It's not what's important to me right now. My page is not important to me. That's, you know, my family's what's important. So that doesn't bother me. It'll happen when the good Lord says it's ready to happen. It'll happen again, okay? I'm going to put some black out. Get me some black. Takes quite a bit of paint, and I'm going to mix colors with my brush as I go along. I'm going to use some orange, some black, some orange. And it doesn't matter what colors, any particular color of orange you use, or, you know, whatever you want to use. I don't never look at colors when I'm painting. I look to see what's in the bottle. I don't look to see what's on the thing unless I have to tell somebody what it is. This happens to be bright orange that I pulled out of there. Sometime I just pull the orange out. See, this one this one happens to be bright orange too when I pull it out there. Let's see, orange, purple. I've got some yellow. I'm going to use this, this yellow is called Banana Cream. Like I said, any colors, any ones you get there, it doesn't matter what kind of yellow it is or what kind of purple, just as long as you've got some black and some white. This purple happens to be eggplant, Folk Arts eggplant. I just picked up those different colors. We're going to go from the bottom up. Okay. So I've got out quite a bit of paint. I've got to get me a little bit of white over here. Hope everybody's had a good week so far. We was out yesterday looking. We've been looking, my oldest, most of you know my granddaughters live with me, and my sons, and my oldest granddaughter will be 19 this week. Well, we've been looking for her a car for since she graduated in June, we've been looking for a car. And we finally found one yesterday, so she's been in hog heaven this week, so she's tickled to death. I wanted to get her something that we could some little car that you didn't have to worry about, you know, and her not have no payments or, you know, or things, because she's going to have a time paying her insurance, just that. But we found the little Ford yesterday, and she was tickled to death when we bought it yesterday. Okay, I've got a wide brush, pretty good wide brush. And I'm going to mix my paints as I go, and I'm going to start on the bottom here. And like I said, I don't have to worry. This tub's got some rough spots on it because this is an old tub. It's not a new one. I'm going to sand this right here on the bottom a little bit. I can't remember. I must have been going to do something shabby on it because I painted it pink at one time. Okay. But that gets the primer on it. If you was using something raw, you just put a coat of white on it. Just spray a coat of white paint on it, and to get your, wait a minute, primer. I'll get it out in a minute, girls. I'm so confused. If you get your primer on, I just use a white spray primer in a flat white spray paint from Rust-Oleum. And I just go out, that's what I painted the inside with. I just sprayed it white inside. Might leave it white, might paint it black. It doesn't really matter what you have inside. Then we will paint this candle and stuff up here to go with it. But I'm going to, just a dry brush, I'm going to pick up my black. I've got this one sitting over here. Hope you can see that one a little bit. Get my tape over here a little bit. I'm going to start with my black on the bottom. If my paint doesn't move good, I will put out a little bit of painting medium. Would this work on any primed surface? Yes, Kim, it will. My primer is always the spray paint. You know, I buy the Rust-Oleum 2-in-1. It's the primer and paint all in one, and that's what I use. That's what I spray everything with. I start with white. This one, see, this one's sprayed. I've got things all over my room here that's already painted white and ready, so when I'm ready to paint something, I can just pull it off the shelf and go with it. Let me show you over here on my table. See my table over there? See those? See how messy my workroom is? But you can see my pumpkins and things sitting there. Everything's always painted white when we're getting started. And spray painting, it's easier for me. I've got stuff all over here behind me too. Everything from teapots to whatever is always painted white when we start with it. Okay? So that's how you would start your process. Okay, I've got my black on here. If my paint doesn't move good, I've put out a little bit of painting medium, which is Josania's Clear Medium Glaze is what I use. That's painting medium, and it just helps your paint move a little easier. It's got a little body to it where water, you could use water if you're experienced enough to use. I can use water if I need to. But I like the painting medium. It gives your paint a little bit of body to it and makes it work a little better. So I've got black on my brush, and I'm just going to start painting right down here on the bottom. I want the bottom is going to be the ground. So as I come up, you have to kind of work with it fast because you want that paint to be wet. You know, you don't want to put dry paint on there and then go in with your next color being dry. So that's when you may have to pick up a little bit of medium. So I've got my black on there, and then the next color I'm going to pick up now with my dirty brush. I'm picking up a little bit of orange. I'm going to do one side at a time. See, I'm going right in there and lightly pull that orange. Might wipe a little bit out of that brush if I feel like I'm getting too much of the black. I'll wipe a little bit out. It's every one you do is going to be different. This is getting your ground level in. And you can always go back after it dries. If you don't like what you've got, you can go right back in and paint it again. But I'm going to do one side at a time for the simple fact that I need the paint to be wet. So see how I've got from the black and started up with the orange. Now I'm going to take that orange up just a little bit higher. I'll wipe some of that black out of my brush. Take that orange up just a little bit higher on my bucket, and make your streaks, take your brush all the way across so you don't have little short streaks. Make it all the way across there. Now I'm going to sneak over and pick up a little bit of the yellow. And I'm going to start right where that orange left off, and I'm using a real light touch to blend those two colors together. See, I've got black, orange, and yellow going up through there. And it looks kind of weird till you get all your painting done on it. And you can always, I can go back in there and set a little bit more orange. Or like I said, if it dries on you, you can go right back down and pick up those colors again and go right back in with them. Okay, now I'm up in my yellow up here. And the purple's going to go up for the sky. Now I'm going to pick up a little bit of my purple and go right up here on the top. And if you want the top, like I wanted this to be dark on the top, so if I did that, I could start up here with the purple first and then work it down into the yellow. Let the darker color be right on the top and work it down to meet my yellow. I've done a lot of these. I've done this on teapots. You can do it on boards. You can do it on pans. I've done it at tea kettles. You can do it on any kind of surface you want and use this same pattern for your, for your background, the same way. But just where your two colors meet, you want to blend them so you don't have any little straight lines across through there. Just kind of blend all that in. Now see how I've got all different colors up through there. See that? Then when we go back in, and get all the painting on it, excuse me, some we will stencil, some we will paint. But when we get all them other things on there, all the witches and stuff on it, then it'll look all different. It now looks just like a big blotch of colors, which it really is. If there's any place you feel like you need it to be stronger, you can go right back in with that color. Like right along the bottom edge, I might want that to be darker because it's ground. Okay, now I've got that one side. I'm going to flip my bucket around and start on the other side. Boy, my throat's scratchy here. Get me a drink. Hi, Sybil. Thanks for sprinkling. Hey, Debbie. Ooh, I put my hand right down in there. Okay, now I'm right back here around this other side. I've wiped my brush pretty good. Pick up a little bit of medium. Gosh, throats. And start back down on the bottom again. Got a frog in my throat. Thanks for the stars, Kimberly. I appreciate that. Okay. Now I'm kind of sneaking around. Probably have to do these ends, you know, again to get them to match good. I got to put out some more orange paint. And you might know the bottle would clog up on me. Now pick up a little bit of orange with that and come right back in with my black. Keep your towel handy right there so you can get rid of some of the black on your brush. As you're coming up, you may want to wipe that black off a little bit, but still use a dirty brush. You don't want to clean your brush and start back in there with a clean color, because you want all those colors to blend together. And like I said, it'll be totally different when you start the painting, when you get your stuff on it. You could put a flower arrangement in this. You could use it for Halloween candy, or carry it as a trick-or-treat bucket. You could use it for lots of different things. Now I'm going up in the yellow. Get down here on this end and blend these ends a little. It's going to be wintertime before we know it. We're supposed to have rain. We had rain this morning. We're supposed to have rain this week. Quite a bit of rain. I guess we're getting some of that out of the south down there where they've got some bad weather. Okay, now I'm ready to go up with the purple at the top up here and work my way down. From the purple into the yellow, and maybe pick up a little bit of orange in there. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You just put it on till you like what you've got. Like I said, it looks real messy until you get all your other stuff on there. Turn back around here and hit the little bit here in some spots. Paint dries pretty quick, so sometimes you have to pick you up a little bit of your medium or something, you know, to get it to blend back up. Once you get the main one on there, go back in and get it to blend a little better. Let me check now and see what I need here. You gotta put out a little more yellow. Okay. Hello, Cheryl, how are you? Let's see here, I need some of that orange in there and that yellow blended together. I may end up having to paint that inside because I'm getting my fingers in it. Okay, I think I got the colors about on there. See, I went right around, just kind of streaking it around. I see one spot there, right in there. I'm going to hit those few little spots again right there where I've got a couple little spots. We can put some clouds in there. I'll show you how to put a cloud or two in with some white, and then we can put the moon. We can paint us a moon in there. And then work with our, we can paint some things in there and use some decoupage and use some stencils. So you can use all kinds. I've got a lot of stencils I've used through the years. And okay, keep your stencils. Okay, I think I've about got the colors. I just wanted it real streaked like that and a lot of different colors in it. Okay, now I'm going to dry that a little bit real quick to get it dried some. Let me get my dryer over here. Which I probably have to hit the breaker on. I am thinking of Christmas. One starts with brown and end with dark blue. Sure you could. And put a nativity scene. Yeah, you could use any colors you want on here to, to make it a different, to give you a different look. I don't know why my throat's so scratchy. Let me see if I got a cough drop over here, girls. Yeah, my throat is scratchy. Hope I'm not getting sick with something. When I'm on here, I always say girls. And some man the other day sent me a message and he said, "Why do you always say you're girls?" He said, "Don't you know there's men on here too?" I said, "Well, I don't see very many." He said, "Why do you always say you're girls?" A bucket this size is good for many, many uses, and you can put all different kinds of designs on it. Okay, I've got that dry, I believe, pretty well dry. Okay, now we're going to decide what we're going to put on it. It's a good size, good container for about anything, you know, and it's got so much room to work on it in there. Because like when I'm working on these tea kettles, see, when I'm doing this, you've got such a little amount of space in there that you're limited, you know, more limited. Now this one's a stencil. The tree I painted on, the tree's been painted on. These little rats here are stencils, the stars are. The tree's painted, the moon was painted on, and then I put a witch in the moon. The boo was all painted on, so part of it's painted and part of it's stenciled. And then it's all, you know, was all varnished. And on the top, I just put polka dots on the top of that one. So you varnish it, you're using all different kinds of designs, you know, putting them on there. I'm going to show you some different stencils. I have some things on my page, some what we call fussy cuts, some pieces, but I've got some stencils here. See, this one's bats, and see how tiny they are? That's just little bitty tiny bats, which are really, that one's probably smaller than what we would use to, you know, to put bats on this one. This one says, this one is Halloween. Yeah, and you could put all the way around. See, that would fit all the way around through there, and you've got a pattern that just about goes halfway around your tub. So you could stencil that and then go back in with it. Or I've got all these others. See, this one says Happy Halloween. This is just one. These I bought in a pack. Most of stencils, you can find all kinds of stencils on Amazon. But now these little ones like this is a witch and she's riding a broom. I've got these. I've had these for years and years, and I've used many of them. This is one out of the fussy cuts. This is just a little cat. And these are, see, I've got pumpkins. I just printed me off some pumpkins. I've got pumpkins. I can cut them out and put some pumpkins on there. And I've got these. These are different pieces. That's trees, but I'm painting. There's a snowman. I don't believe I want that snowman on there. But these are just different designs that I have printed out. And see, here's a big boo. I can use that boo, or I can paint it on there. This one's big enough to put this big boo on there. I might just cut that out and use it. Here's some gnomes. I've got some gnomes over here. Here's another big one. See, this one's got just I've used these 3 little pumpkins on that. You can just pick things out of the stencil. You don't have to use the whole thing. That's just got 3 little pumpkins on there that I had used on one. Okay. And then these stencils, see, this one's bats. See how much I've used these? These I've used used a lot. And they're bats. And these I've used a lot. See, this one is a witch. She's dancing, and there's a black cat. She's dancing with the cat. See how she's there? It's in there. That might be a good one to put on there. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, we can do that on one side. See, she almost goes to, she can cover one little section there almost completely. So we'll put that one on there. We'll just work our way around with piece by piece until we get it all filled up. Let's see if I've got a smaller boo here. I'm just going to cut these boo out and use them cut out instead of taking the time to paint them on there. Let me find my scissors here. I've got a bunch of little scissors hanging over here, but I've ruined them because I cut wire with them. I'm so bad to grab them when I'm cutting wire and cutting beads and stuff, and nothing ruins your scissors faster than cutting wire with them, so I need to get them sharpened. I'm going to cut this boo out so I can use it. This is just what we call fussy cut. On my page, on my design in vintage to chic designs.etsy.com, you'll find a Halloween thing. It gives you about 4 sheets of fussy cuts on one purchase, and they're good for Halloween, you know, to cut all different kinds of things. You'll get bats and all kinds of stuff with them. Okay, there's my bee. Okay, I'm not going to be able to, I'm going to have to draw that on because I don't want to cut that O. I don't want to cut, since I'm doing it on a dark background, if I don't cut that O out of there, that will show. So I'm just going to paint it on like I done this one. I'll just take me a pencil. I'm going to use a chalk pencil as soon as I find where I've laid it here. Well, you might know when you need something you don't have it. Okay, here it is. These are handiest thing you ever was when you're working on a dark background. And this is a chalk pencil. It's called charcoal white, and it's a chalk pencil. And you can go in and draw with it, and you can draw on any surface, any dark surface. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put me a B-O-O right here in block letters. B, and then I'll fill it in. Paint it in. Okay, got a B there. Let's see if I got that. Okay. B, and then I'm not going to worry if they're not perfect because it's Halloween piece. I'm not going to worry about it. See, I just write B-O-O on there. And then I'm going to go back in and paint those with white. Now I'm going to start right around here and I'm going to paint a tree. I'm going to come right up here on this corner here and I'm going to use my black paint and a flat brush here. And I'm going to put me a real straggly, just like something you'd see a spooky tree in the woods. I'm going to start right down here. I'm going to put me a base in. See how I put the base of that tree in there? And then I'm just going to pull it right up. And as I go up, you'll let your trunk of your tree is kind of wide, and then as you get up to the top, you just slim it down. So I've made the one stripe up the middle. Just painted one stripe up through there. Now I'm going to go right off of that, use my brush on an angle, and then turn it on its tip till I bring out some limbs out on that tree. See there? Just pulling those right out of the middle. When we was learning to paint years ago, our teacher told us, she said, you never paint a bad tree. No matter what kind of tree you paint, somewhere in the woods you'll find that tree if you're out looking. And when you're learning to paint, you then go back later and you see things. You see clouds. You see different shapes of clouds in the sky, and you see different shapes of trees and stuff that you would never have seen before you learned to paint. You wouldn't even think about that. But after you start painting and drawing those, you think, oh, that tree looks just like one I painted, or you'll see how bad trees are in the woods, how misshaped. So you really can't paint a bad one. This is just like a big bare tree, so you know it's no greenery on it. So I'm just going in. I start with the flat of my brush, and as I pull up, I turn it on its tip and just kind of wiggle it out and get those limbs out on there. From those limbs, I pull out some smaller ones. Some of them hang down. Just a big old gaudy tree with a lot of strokes and stuff on it. And right down to your base. See? Now I've just painted a tree on there. See that? And how now the colors, see how the colors in the background now looks like the sky back there, like it's nighttime and the sky is. I might put a little darker purple up on that top when I get that on there. But you can see how that background goes back in behind that tree, and you don't now I can't talk today. Now you don't really see how the mix of colors, it just kind of blends in, everything blends in together. Now I'm going to go over here on this side, and I'm going to draw me a moon. Let's put a moon over here, and then we'll put a witch in the moon. And no, I'm not using chalk paint, Bonnie. This is plain old acrylic paints. All of it's all just regular acrylics, no chalk paint. Now I'm going to make me a circle, and I'm going to make it with the yellow. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put me a moon. Just draw me a circle in there. So I'm using the yellow that I used in the background. I'm going to put it over here because that's darker, a little darker purple over here. So I'll be up in the purple. You can make it as big as you want it or as small as you want it. Just going to put me a big circle in there for the moon. I'll probably have to put 2 coats on it. Then we have to shade it and we have to highlight it. Just do it. You could put a half moon, a quarter, a slit of a moon. You can do whatever you want. If you want to put a half moon, then you just put a slit down the side and just put a half moon in there. But I'm going to put the whole thing, and then I'm going to stencil me a witch inside that moon. See? Now I've got the moon on there. Okay? So we've got a tree on one side, we got the moon over there. Now let's go right back in here while that's drying. I'm going to take this little witch here that's got the black cat beside her, and I'm going to lay her right down here on my board so that she's right where I want her. And ordinarily I probably would take a piece of tape and tape that stencil down. I'm going to try to hold it. So let's hope that I can hold it in place and not have to use a piece of tape. Okay, so I'm going to get me a stencil brush. I need to buy me some new stencil brushes. And I'm going to use black. So I've got her laid down there. I'm doing the witch, and there's a black cat here, and she's dancing, and her and the cat's dancing. I'll show you after I get it on there. So I'm going to put a little bit of black paint on my brush over here, my stencil brush. Then I'm going to wipe it off on my palette so I don't have a big lot of paint on there. It's better to go in there 2 or 3 times and put that on than it is to have too much paint on your brush. You might even want to blot it on your towel a little bit. And I'm just bouncing it up and down, trying to hold it in place. These stencils, like I said, I've probably had these stencils, I've probably had them 5 or 6 years. So they don't, you know, I just put them away. When Halloween's over, I put them away in a box. I've got a whole box of Halloween stencils. Okay, I've got the cat on there. Now I'm going to roll my thing just a tad till I can get over here where the witch is at. Okay. I think I'm going to go down to a smaller brush. I can control it better. See if I got one a little smaller one. This one's not very stiff. I don't know if it'll work or not. Might not work. Yeah, it will. You could put a piece of Scotch tape on each end of your stencil if you want to hold your stencil in place. Hold that down there a little bit. Hey, lady. I haven't watched any videos. I haven't watched anybody, girls. I never, you know, when I'm sitting down, I'm usually working on my Etsy shop when I have time. I can work in the house at the computer. Daryl is just about bed fast now, so I've got a bed sitting in the, right in the middle of my in my family room. I have a bed, so he can be there laying in the bed and I can be on my computer. So most of the time when I'm in, you know, there, I'm working on something on the computer. So I'm working on my Etsy shop, getting stuff listed and things to keep it up. Almost got it on there. Now if you wet your stencil brush, you got to start it with another one. So you're better off to do all your stenciling at one time if you're not familiar with stenciling, because once you wet that brush, you can't go back and use that same brush again. Okay, now we got the witch and the broom on there. See how she's on there? Now see, in the stencil, we've got these little holes. Hey, Carolyn. I'm using, oh, I'm sure Debbie, he does, yeah. Thank you, Bonnie. He had a rough day Friday, and he wanted me to sit right by his bed, and so Friday I did that. Most of the day we was all here. These little holes that's in the stencil, see, when you put your stencil on, it has all these little holes the way the stencil's made. So I go back in and paint, you know, paint in some spots. You have to go back in and fill in those little holes with your paintbrush. Or you might want to clean that up on the edges a little bit. I'm getting a mess here with my things. So if I go back in with my brush and I come here and I paint her legs in solid. She's got stripes around her legs, but that doesn't show up very well, so I'm just painting her legs in solid to make to make it look a little better. I like that a little better. And sometimes it'll cross over into something like the witches, the broom here I'm going to make. And it being Halloween, it don't have to be perfect anyway. That cat's dancing, and he's got a hat in his hand. right up here where her broom comes up, I'm going to attach the broom to her hand there so it comes all the way up. So just go in with your brush and fill in all the little spaces that you need to fill in there after you've got it stenciled on there. Okay, I think that's about got it. Now see how pretty she is? She's dancing, and then I'll put some color underneath her feet. You know how we drag to plant them on the ground. So we'll go down here right where the cat's sitting. Now he's got 1 foot in the air and 1 foot on the ground. So I put a little shading under this one, but not under this one because he's got his foot kicked up in the air. And she's got 1 on the ground and 1 up in the air. So I'm going to just put some shading under the foot that's on the ground. Put a little bit of darker color right here so that shows that she's standing on the ground. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here with the tree. It has a pretty good base, that tree does, already in the black. But I'm going to come out a little on each side of that tree just to show that it's ground on there. Okay. So we've got the tree on, and then we've got the witch on there. Now we need something to go underneath that tree. Let's see here what we've got. Okay, let's see if this pumpkin's too big here for the tree. See, I've got a pumpkin cut out here, and I'm going to set it right here underneath this tree. I'm going to set this pumpkin here. And I'm going to decoupage it on. It is just a little pumpkin there. I want to get my glue out. You're just working your way all the way around. Okay, I'm going to wait to decoupage that on there till I get the other things on. Okay, now I'm going to go in. Let's see, I've got to paint the boo. I'm going to paint that to moon again. Put some yellow in that moon. Another coat of yellow in the moon so that it gets painted. Then we're going to shade it with some orange and highlight it, and then we're going to put a witch in the moon. Okay, now I've got the moon, it's all painted yellow. Now I'm going to go down the left side of the moon with some orange. I want to shade that moon, so I'm going to clean my brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit of painting medium on my brush and a little bit of orange on the other side. Blend it a little bit on my palette. Got some black on that brush. Okay. Something on my brush there. Now I'm going to pull this orange right down the left side of the moon. We'll come in there and shade right down that left side and darken it. So it shows one side of the moon. My moon's not perfectly round either. Could be, but it don't have to be. Okay, now see, I've got that side of the moon darkened, and I'm going to highlight the other side of the moon with some white. Then I'm ready to put the witch in there. So I'm picking up a little bit of painting medium, a little bit of white paint, blend it on my palette. Then I'm going to come just opposite of where I put the orange, and on this side I'm going to put the white. Okay, see, I've got orange on one side of the moon and white on the other. Okay, now I need me a witch to go in the moon. See where I got her here. Need me a witch. This one, let's see if that one's too big. That one's too big. Okay. See, some of these have got a variety of stuff on it. All kinds. It's got a ghost on it. Everything but a witch. That one's got the ghost and the chains. Let's see if the witch is on this one. One little one. Okay, there's one on here. She's kind of tiny, but I think she'll work. She's a little bitty witch right here. See that where my hand is at there? There's a little bitty witch there. I think that other one's too big. So I'm going to put this little witch right here. Take my stencil brush and stencil her in the moon. Okay. Take my black again. Go right back in here and put that little witch in the moon. I'll probably have to go back in with my little detail brush and detail her just a little bit more after she dries. Okay, where can you get the painting medium? You can buy it on Amazon. It's Josonja, Josonja, and her products are made by Chroma, Chroma. And you can get her products. You can get them at dickblick.com. Has a real good art supply. Is Dick Blick, but you also can get them on Amazon. I use her varnishes. I use a lot of her products, and they just use her name. She's a decorative artist from way back, and her name, that company now uses her name. I'm gonna take my liner brush and detail this little witch a little bit. Then I'll show her to you. She's flying on the broom. She's a tiny little thing. See? We got a witch in the moon now. She's flying right through the moon. Okay? Now, this side's pretty well. We got pretty much done on this side. Okay, now I'm going to use some of these other stencils. Like I said, this page has got ghost on it. It's got cats and ghosts and skeletons and chains, and this is a great one. And I don't know where it came from. I don't know. Some of them I bought on Amazon. Like I said, I've had them for so many years. I'm going to put this chain. It's like a chain a spook would carry. I'm going to put it right down here on this bottom, right along this bottom edge, and put this little black chain in here. So I'll just go ahead and work on this side, and then we'll dry it and flip it over and do the other side then. Okay, now, see, we added another spot there. See how we got that chain right there? That, okay. Now let's see what else we got here that we can put in there. We'll put a ghost over here like he's going head toward that tree. We've got some ghost up here. I've got one that's pretty good size. This one's not too big here. I'm going to pull it around here so I can get down here a little bit. Put this ghost right up here close to this tree. You just got to hold your stencils in there and just kind of place them around wherever you want them. So I'm going to put this little ghost right here as soon as I can figure out how to hold it. They dry quickly, which is a good thing. But working on something that's round like this, you're better off to do one side and then go back in and do the other side, because you'll get your hands in the paint. Okay, now I put a ghost. See that ghost right there where the tree? He's coming right up out of that tree toward that broom. Okay, now let's see. We got a skeleton. We've got a mouse. I'm going to put a mouse right down here where this witch and the cat's at. A little mouse right down here. By the time you get all the pieces on, all the little characters and little things on there, then he looks really good. We got a mouse down there. I've got some eyeballs up here that's looking at the moon. We'll use the bats at the very last thing. We'll fill in all the little spot with bats. We've got a skeleton. I can put that little skeleton right up here. Little skeleton head. If you put in Halloween stencils on Etsy or on Amazon, you'll find all kinds of them. Okay. Okay. Now, see this side, how pretty this is? See, we went all the way around. Got all the way around to the tree. I need something right here under this tree, so I'm going to find me, there's a cat. Right here's a cat on this one. A black cat, a big one. Right here in the middle. See that big black cat? I'm going to put him right down here under this. Okay, my tree's on the other side. Let's see, he's a little bit too big to go there. Let's see if I got a smaller one. Thought I had a smaller cat. They look on my other things here. Okay. Let's see what we got down here. There's a cat on that one. There's a bat. Got to look around a little bit and see what I got here. Okay, here's a cat. It's a little, maybe he's small enough to go down there. Nope, he's too big too. Oh, here's a little one. Okay, right here's a cat, a black cat. I'm going to put him right here where that mouse is at, underneath that tree. Okay. See what else? See, there's one of a half moon. You could draw that. You could draw that on, or you could paint it on. There's shoes on this one. One says, "Here, kitty, kitty." Let's see what else we got. This one's trees and ghosts. There's a dog. Okay, let's see here what we've got. I think we can go down to the bats on that side. So we're going to go in with this sheet of bats. This is just all different size bats, and I'm just going to set them in there all over the place. So they've got bats flying around everywhere. We'll put stars in after a while. We'll put stars in there, white stars in it. I'm going from one size of the other to the bats because they're all different sizes on this stencil. We'll always go in with the toothbrush too and put the final, spackle it with my toothbrush or with black. You could put glitter on it when you varnish it. You could put glitter or, whatever you want to make it shine. Nothing hard about it, girls. It's all simple stuff. It's just a matter of, doing it one piece at a time. Okay, now see how pretty it is? Got all that stuff in there. All the way from the tree, we're halfway around the tub. We've got the tree, the bats, all of the things. The witch is going through the moon. There's a skeleton head up there. Now we're ready to go around, I think, and work on the other side. I better hit this one with a little bit of blow it just a little bit to make sure I got it dry. No, Vicki, I've not found any rice paper that's sufficient. My sister-in-law sent me from some Hobby Lobby. It's a roll and thinner than the other we use. I haven't looked at Hobby Lobby, but a roll, I've got some of that original paper that we use. I've still got quite a bit myself because I probably bought 50 packages over the last year. So I've still got, I'm scared to count them because I know I'm going to run out, but I've still got quite a bit of rice paper left. But I do have one roll of that. But that roll is so hard, because when you unroll it, it don't roll out flat. If you got it on a roll and it don't roll out flat, then you're going to have to iron it. And what you would do with that is take a piece of it, put a towel, like if you've got a bar, if you've got an ironing board, you could use your ironing board. Take a towel and lay over your paper like a dish towel, and then use your iron on a low heat and lay that paper down and then iron it with that towel, and it'll flatten your paper out. Otherwise, those rolls, you can't get them cut to where they'll go through the printer. They just roll up on you. So I'll use that one. It'll be the last one I use, is that roll. Okay, now we're ready to flip it over and go on the other side. And we're going to paint that boo in on the other side, and then we'll put another stencil of some kind. So I'm going to paint that boo in with white to begin with. So I'm just going to use my white paint and paint those letters in. I'm trying not to clean those brushes over there till I, till I get done stenciling with them. So I hope I don't wait too long. I'm just going to paint my letters, B-O-O, and paint them in with white. Then I'll go back and put some polka dots and stuff in them. If you use that, now I had some rice paper, some mulberry paper. I bought that on Amazon. I put a link of that in our private group to that that I bought on Amazon. If you want to use the mulberry paper and you attach it to a sheet, it's good. It's different from the rice paper, but it will go through your, your printer. So I am no longer going to print a lot for sale, because my printers are just not, they're not commercial printers. And every time I sit down, if I have very many to print at one time, I have problems. I'm sitting there just about cussing my printers. And I get so frustrated with them because it hangs up on me, and then I'm wasting paper. And so I'm just going to sell the digitals and not do a whole lot of printing now. I do printing. I have some customers that's been with me a long time. I'll print for them if I need to, but because I know I'm going to run out of paper. And I've had people contacting me asking me, but I cannot recommend one so far. Not found anything that is comparable to what we've been using. Okay. I'll put a coat of white on here, and then I'm going to go back with the orange over top of that first one. We'll make that B in orange. Okay, now I'm going to go in with orange and put a coat on the B here. I primed it with a little bit of white first, which I probably didn't have to do that because I don't have enough background behind it. But I'm going to make that B orange. And it'll take 2 or 3 coats to get a good orange on there. When you get used to something, you find something you like and they discontinue it. That's so frustrating when they've discontinued something you've been using for years, and then you can't get it no more and it works for you. That's awful when you have to go searching again for something. And it's nowhere. Everybody that I know, including me, have looked all over the internet for it, and it's not available and can't find it anywhere. Okay. Now I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do one in black. So I've got this last one over here. I'm going to paint it in black. Amazon says they may not get any more. Well, that's true. And I had one other place that I was buying it. I can't remember the name of it. that I was buying some from them too, but I've not been able to get it. They haven't. I've been doing quite a bit of playing with the clay, and I like that, so I'm learning. I am learning. It takes a while. When you want to learn something new, it takes a lot of playing with it to learn it. Hi from Florida. Hey, Sylvia. Okay, I've got BOO, but I'm going to have to put more paint on that, or let that orange set. And the O has to have more color on it. Then we'll put some polka dots or something in them. Okay, we'll let that set a minute. We'll go on to a stencil and figure out what we're going to put over on this side. Hey, Linda. Let me see if I can put these I've got 3 little pumpkins here that might go right down here underneath that tree. I've got a stencil with 3 little pumpkins on it. I think I'll put them right there. Okay. So, where'd my stencil brush go? There it is. Well, if I put them on there, let me see what else I got here. I've got another. Okay, I've got a witch here. It's hunched down. I think I'll put her on this, under this tree. She's sitting down with stirring a pot. I'll put her right here under the tree. I was sitting here thinking what to have for supper this evening. Feel the fall and the thing. Of course, fall season here in Tennessee is absolutely beautiful. Of course, we have people come in from everywhere, you know, to visit Gatlinburg and the Smokies. So, it's just about getting started. We had a big car show this past weekend. Sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not. I think I saw on the news this morning they had like 29 arrests over the weekend, arrested people. Trouble. Our police force here is good. They keep, you know, they're always out on the highway patrolling and watching everything. They have so many people come in when we have them car shows. They let our schools out early on Friday because the buses get clogged up in town. Those cars, trucks always come into town. And the buses have a hard time getting through, so they let the kids out early on Friday. The Gatlinburg show's next month. If any of you comes, do you clean your stencils? Vicki, I did for a while, but I kind of got behind on it, and no, I don't. If they get really, really bad, I guess I would, but I haven't for a long, long time. Now, see this little lady? She's sitting here. See how cute she is? Now, I'll go back in her little flame and put some little work on her, but see, she's sitting right with her back to the tree, and that's a real cute little piece there. Now let's see what else I've got to sit with her here. I should clean them, but I don't. Okay, here's a dog. Let's put this dog right here with this lady. He's got a dog like he's howling at the moon. I should have put him around on the other side where the moon was at. Okay, I've got the dog. Now let's see what we've got to put up. We got a big ghost up here. Let's put this old big ghost right up here. Put him over on this corner, so I'm going to have to back up and put him right up here above the boo. He's a big one, flying through the sky. Awesome. I do have awesome spray. I never even thought of that. Just take them, spray them. I should spray them and put them in the sink and just, you know. And I used to do that, but it got to where I was working doing so many, I let them get too far out, and I thought, well, I just leave them. I have a lot of stencils I'd like to get rid of. I've not used them in years and things. I used to make a lot of signs and stuff when I did the show and use stencils, and now I've got them. I got in them yesterday. I got a ton of them I need to get rid of. Okay, now we got a ghost. See, we got a ghost up here in the sky, and we've got the witch there. We need something up in the sky on the other side. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I think I had another witch, a flying witch. She's too big. Let's put this one over here. She don't have a moon, but we'll put her up here anyway. She's flying above her head. She's done went through the moon, and she's on the other side. Awesome is good for lots of things. I think it'll take paint out of clothes if you get it quick enough. Okay, now I need to take my brush and go back in there on the spots where they're, and do a little bit more detail on them. So I'm going to use a little liner brush and come right here and connect the dog's tail. His tail's not connected to his body. His legs ain't either. When the stencils are made, they have to put holes in them to do a certain thing, so they always have spaces you have to fill in. Okay, now the same way, the witch looks pretty good, but this one up here in the flying through the sky, got to connect her broom, connect her arms. Got to do a little bit of work on her just to get her all filled in. Okay, the same way with this ghost over here. His arms are not connected either. Okay, we go right back around here. The chain is not connected. Okay. I'd like to see them if you get. Oh, you'd like to see the stencils, Bonnie? I'll tell you. I'll show you what I've got. Yeah, I'll sell them. I'll try to get some of them out and show you what I've got. Some of them are great big. You know, they were big. I did lots of big signs. Got some Christmas, and I've got one for making a Christmas stocking board that says the stockings were all hung. And I've got one of them, and I've got a lot of big ones. And some's Halloween, some's Christmas. I'll get them out and tell you what I've got. Nose itching. Okay, I need to put a little color underneath the witch here to set her on the ground a little. A little more color under here. Now she's got a fire pot, a fire pit here where her's got smoke coming out, got a fire in that thing. So I'm gonna put a little color underneath her pot where her I'm gonna put a fire right here. I'll try to get it out in a minute. Okay. Just about caught me at the end. Yeah, I'm gonna mix a little bit of orange and get me a little bit of red. You find some red paint here. And I'm going to put those two together and put a fire, kind of a little fire underneath that kettle there. A little bit of medium on my brush. And blot it a little bit. Pick up a little bit of orange or yellow and then a little bit of the red. Just kind of put them all on my brush but not mix them. Then I'm going to come in here right under her pot and I'm going to come right like this and kind of pull it up and just pull it up in a so it looks like there's a fire underneath that pot. You blend those colors and you got the red in there and then you got some of the other colors, makes it look like there's a fire under there. See, she's got a fire burning under the pot. Can you see that? Okay. Now we need to put some color in the boo and we need to put some bats over on this side. Finish out with some bats and some little things to finish this one out. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. Got to put some more boo in here, some more orange in this bee. Thank you, girls. What you can learn so much. I'm glad you learned something. You know, you learn something from everybody you watch. That's the good thing. I've said it many times. The more people you watch, better off you are. If you got time to watch them, and you know you have favorites, you have people you really like, and who you try to learn from. But everybody will teach you something. You know, there's a little bit of something coming from everybody that you watch. And then you develop it into what becomes yours. Then you have your own style of doing. That's like my teapots. I took teapots from this and that and the other, and then I got to where I liked the snowman that I do and the gingerbread, and I've stayed with them. And they do, you know, I do real well with them. Okay. Now I'm going to come in here and put some of my bats up on this one. That handle's aggravating me. I'll paint that little handle black. Okay, down here. You can just put bats all over the place and you can turn them in all directions. The bats will fly low, they'll fly high, so you can just put them all over the place. One way down here. Okay. I'll varnish this one with a spray varnish. I will just spray it with the acrylic spray. I got my teapot and love it. Thank you, Kimberly. I'm glad you like it. I sell teapots good. And I've been buying, you can buy teapots, girls, on eBay. It's a good place to buy teapots. But the thing is, if a person is not a seller of teapots normally and packing them, they don't know how to pack them. I bought about I've bought 6 or 8 in the last couple of weeks, maybe more than that, off from eBay, and 3 of them were broke when I got them, because they don't, you know, packing a teapot is like packing glass. If you don't pack it good when you ship it, it's not going to get there. The handles will pop off very, very easily. The feet will pop off, and if they don't know how to pack them. And I've had 3 busted that came broke in the last couple of weeks, all the ones I bought. Okay, now I'm going to go back in. I've got a stencil here somewhere that's full of stars, and I'm going to go back in and find it. Hopefully I can find it. And I'm going to put some stars all around too, some white stars, and that'll just accent it a little bit. Let me see if I can locate it. Hope I got it out. I bet I didn't. This one's got a few stars on it, but not the big ones. Oh, there's another sheet of bats, all different sizes of bats. But I don't have the stars. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, see, this one's got a cobweb and bats and stars on it. So I'm going to go back in. I got to get me a clean brush. New brush to use the white, and I'm going to use white with this one. And I'm going to go in here. I've got a cobweb on this one, but I've already put my black brush in the water, so I'm not going to go. I'll go back, girls, and outline these 3. I'm not going to fool with that now, and I'll put some polka dots or something in that white, and I'll go around these with black, so you'll know that. But now I'm going to get, because we're getting down to time here, so I don't want to keep you very long. This one's got a whole bunch of different size stars on it, so I'm going to go in here and just put some stars in different places here. And the little bit of white that puts these stars in will just accent the whole thing. So I'm going in with the white and stencil these stars in. Now this stencil does need to be cleaned. I can see the things on it. It needs desperately to be cleaned. See that little bit of stars, how much difference that makes too by putting that little bit of white in there. Just put you some stars in. And I love the way the color is behind that tree. See, that looks like the sunset, and see down here it looks like way back in the distance there's a, you know, there's the ground goes way back in there and the colors goes up into the sky like that. I love that. That spot turned out really good. And we'll come over here on this other side and add some stars too to this side. Okay. I'm going to try to come back on again this week, and I'll do one of those big jugs with you, those Halloween or the Christmas or Halloween jugs. So I posted one, and they've had a lot of questions about it. So I'll do one of those gallon jugs with the lights in it. See how pretty that is? See that little bit of red under the pot? That makes a big difference. And then you can go all the way around. See? And nothing at all hard about it. You could sit there and add bats to everywhere, add anything, you know, just keep going around. Hey Debbie, how are you? You could just keep going around and doing that. I'll probably varnish it with a gloss. I think it'll look better if it's shiny. I'll spray it with a shiny gloss varnish. I'll paint that boo in, and then I'm going to take my toothbrush. I'll go ahead now and do the toothbrush thing because I can get that done. I'll take a toothbrush and spackle it or put some paint on it, and I'll do it kind of heavy to get the black, just the specks all over. I can still paint that boo on there. So I'm going to put a little bit of water. I've got a dozen brushes up here in my tub to take in to clean. I'm going to put a little bit of water on that, in that black, so it's just about like ink. Take my toothbrush through it. I'm just going to pull back on my toothbrush like so and pull it back, and I'm going to just sprinkle all over. And it just ties it all together when you do that. I could have done it all. See, now this one I done all in stencils. I could do another one and do it all in fussy cuts. And just, you know, cut everything out and make it little houses and trees and gnomes and all that stuff too. I've done them both ways. I've let my purple paint get over in there. I'll have to sand that off and paint it a little bit if I'm going to leave it white, or otherwise I'll have to paint it black down in there. Because I've got some paint. First one of these I've done in a long time. Be really good to hand your treats out in for Halloween, or for a kid to carry it for a trick-or-treat bucket, to carry it to get their treats in. Either one. Or you could put a flower arrangement in it for some kind of table arrangement in it for Halloween if you decorate inside. We don't decorate much for Halloween anymore. I don't decorate hardly any for anything anymore. I'm lucky to get a tree up for my kids at Christmas time. Okay, I think I've got it. See? Now, see how pretty? Ooh, I like that. I like it, I like it. The black cat, the little mouse is there, the witch is dancing, and the cat goes right on around. You got the skeletons, you got the bats, the ghosts are up there. Only thing I got left to do is paint the boo in there. Okay, tree looks pretty good. You could even put you some little bats or something. You could put one of them little mice up in the tree if you want to set him on